Tottenham On Tour.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's a Spurs podcast. We have with us a very special guest. I finally know his actual name. It's Nick from Shelf Side Spurs. I was calling him Barry for a while. I was calling him. I wasn't sure with all the names down, but we got it. Nick. It's N-I-K, not N-I-C-K. Is that also a fault of ours on the thumbnail?
No. It's fine. It's I like to be a bit different, as you know, with all my 10,000 names. So.
Well, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. You've been here before, but welcome back. I'm obviously here with Mr. Brent Daigle as well. And Ads is in the background with us. He's feeling a little bit ill, folks. So he is going to be managing the comments and super chat. So if you're getting in the comments there, that's who you're speaking to. And he will be, getting in any thoughts or questions you guys might have while we're streaming. Lots to talk about, lads. Well, let me just check in with you, Nick, first. How are you post the last two games? Obviously the Newcastle game felt like we played because it was a massive result for us and in them losing to Newcastle, and of course the Burnley game, but feeling good about this current situation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of recovering now. I mean, it's been since Thursday to Sunday to last night. My voice has kind of recovered, but I'm just exhausted. I'm glad we've got a bit of space now between now and the Norwich game on Sunday to kind of recover, let's just say, with everything else that's happened. But we couldn't have planned it any better. I think we were all looking at it and talking about on various other teams that last night was the night that the twists and the turns were going to kind of twist and turn once more, and that was probably the biggest opportunity, and Newcastle and Arsenal didn't let us down. So I feel great. I feel, it's almost to where we were, kind of in November in 9th place, and everyone's saying we'd be lucky to finish in the top 10 to needing 1 point on Sunday to be in the Champions League again.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. You're a little bit joggy there, Nick. So if we don't respond right away, it's just I think that your internet connection's a bit slow, but no worries.
Okay.
Bra guy, same question. How are you, buddy? I mean, yesterday's game was a fun watch. That first goal goes in, and of course, the first half was pretty. I mean, let me start. Sorry, let me start with this. Do we need to talk about the 1-0 win against Burnley, or is there? I feel like there wasn't a heck of a lot to talk about there. It was a penalty. It was a soft penalty, but a penalty nonetheless. Not a lot to talk about there. We got the job done, got the goal that we needed, and this game that we weren't playing in mattered more than anything else. So we'll go to that first.
Yeah, I mean, all I can say is zippity doo dah, zippity day. My oh my, what a wonderful day today has been. It's been fantastic, hasn't it? It's like Nick Barishaw, Phil Grant. They are going to put on a show for you, Stead. These twists and turns have been so thick and far, and heart attacks and adrenaline rushes, and the roller coaster that is Tottenham Hotspur has been going at full tilt. But yesterday, and the fact that this is the filth of all teams for this to be sharing this moment with, don't get me wrong, it would have been the other way.
So many times.
It would have been the worst of the worst of the worst. Yeah. But you know what? It's the best of the best of the best. And Joe, I was on a show before. I was on Sean Butler's show, on a Spurs talk show. And a gooner came in, and he was talking about how many days we've gone without winning a trophy. And I was like, mate, this is what you're doing with your life now? You're coming onto Spurs streams to say how many days we're not winning a trophy. And I was going to say, but wait a minute, for the last 4 or 5 years, we've won top 4, which Arsene Wenger said is a trophy. So let's count the days of how many days it is since you've been ahead of us. He disappeared. But then he came back with one saying the Tottenham Hotspur Audi Cup Legends or something like that as his name, and started saying, well done, you've won the Audi Cup. And I was like, mate, you can't win the Emirates Cup in your own bloody ground. And then he disappeared. So I've been sending all my Arsenal fans just gifs of Anton Deck dancing with no words. It's just been one of those days I wish today was Groundhog Day.
They're really a weird fan base, aren't they? I always find their fans in our comments of our channels or even just the Tottenham Hotspur Facebook page, in the comments, they're in there talking shit, talking nonsense. I'm just get a life, guys. Like, are you that miserable? Is your life that poor that you end up having to hop into our world and try to take the piss? And not even well, they're just strange. It's a strange fan base, a strange group of fans. I don't quite get them. I've never understood them, and I have a couple friends who are fans of them. They maybe aren't as ingrained in the fan base as maybe the folks who are from North London, or sorry, from Woolwich, and live in North London. They're a little bit more reasonable and not as wacky about it, but still not quite all there when it comes to football. So it's a strange one. They capitulated though, didn't they, Nick? They just fell apart yesterday. It was even they didn't even fall apart. They didn't even have it together. They started so poorly, and from the entire game, it just felt like Newcastle were the team that was fighting for Champions League, not Arsenal.
Yeah, they. I mean, look, they were obviously psychologically damaged from Thursday night, and
it's a good show.
When that tifo came out from the Newcastle end, that obviously brought back some harrowing memories from Thursday night.
PTSD for tifo. They got PTSD tifo.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So yeah, they look psychologically damaged, and I think to see the Newcastle first goal come from a foul throw of all things, it's just incredible to watch. And I think like you were saying, and like
they threw it all away, didn't they? I love that.
Yeah, and to see Arsenal fans coming into streams and comments and everything, we're living rent free in their heads, and it's absolutely
big time.
Fantastic. And that is, I guess, for me, and I spoke about it when I was on We Are Tottenham TV, is that Arteta's had this narrative about the Premier League being unfair on them and referees' decisions going against them and everything else, and the players are believing it, the fans are believing it, and it's just brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant to see them just to capitulate like they have done, and I don't think they're going to win on Sunday anyway, so it might not even matter what we do.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to mention Phil Ambrose's comment here, which we're going to get into, Phil, a little bit later on when we get into the bit of a Norwich preview. Feeling stressed about playing bottom of the table Norwich. We spoke about it off air just before we started, and it is stressful. You're not a Spurs fan if you're not stressed about it, despite the game. But yeah, I agree with you, Nick. I don't see them beating Everton in this situation, especially after what happened. They're just continue, like the falling apart is just going to continue. I knew they would drop points. I said it on our last two podcasts. I've said it on multiple different forums on social media that they will drop points at some point. We just have to win our games, and it looks like that's going to be the case. They've got Everton at home, but it's going to be a lot of fans who are going to be pretty upset. So it's volatile immediately. Like going into the Emirates Stadium generally is, well, I mean, it's probably improved in the last couple of years as far as like the home fans are concerned. They're not as miserable as they were before, but it's still a library. It's still quiet as hell. And when they're not playing well, it doesn't go well. They get under their skin pretty quick. Brian, any more thoughts on that game and stand? I want to talk a little bit about Newcastle because they were really good. They're not to Arsenal were poor, but any standout performers for you from Newcastle that you'd be like, hey man, I despite them having all the money they have and we're not really going to be able to poach players from them anymore. Players in particular that stood out to you.
So before I talk about the wonder that is Newcastle United,
okay,
I just need to carry on with the filth for a bit. I mean, first of all, I cannot wait to watch that lap of appreciation when they go round and go, yeah, well, we could have got fourth, we fucked it, we're fifth, but they didn't have Europe last year, so they're kind of like, well, there is progress, but it's shit. Tottenham got ahead of us, it's shit. We haven't gone past 10 minutes. We're so close. 9 minutes 49.
I think we can say shit. I think shit's okay.
Okay, shit.
Yeah.
But then you got to look at it, and I can't remember what I was watching yesterday, but
shit's fine. You just can't say fuck.
Fucking this shit.
It's after 10.
So basically, I was watching it, and you look at us, and we were all not happy with the transfer market, but yes, we brought in two players that have made a huge difference without a doubt. We got rid of 4 that weren't having an impact at all. In fact, they were having a negative impact off the pitch. And then you look at they got rid of Aubameyang. Now, all right, he was a bad egg. He needed to get out. He was controversial, but they had no one to respond
They
to.
also loaned out 2 players in
Yeah,
the
but
same
what
week.
I'm saying is they could have made him train with the under-23s. Wait till he apologises. He's gone and got 11 goals for Barcelona.
Yeah.
So not that I care, but they could have done something with him. But obviously, like Ozil, they gave him 350 grand a week, and it's like, I'm going to fuck about now. And it came back to absolutely bite them on the arse. And then Gary Neville, I mean, I tweeted it. Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher have been clipped like a 3-minute video.
Oh, I've seen the video. Yeah, it's a good video.
That video when Gary Neville just says it's a problem. It's a big problem because of the financial pool and everything. But it's Jamie Carragher when he goes, ever since I've been working for Sky, I've been a big fan of Arteta and this Arsenal team. But I'm sick of saying the same thing over and over again. I was like, I must have watched it about 12 times. That's only about 688 times less than I've watched Danny's Arsenal get battered that he put up on our show straight away. Yeah, I listen, when it comes to Newcastle, I've been very, very open with my love for Newcastle, the city, not the club so much, but the people there. My favourite away day by far. And what St James's Park is, and it is and was everything that we expected. They're going into a summer where relegation isn't even an option, and it's not, oh no, who's coming in, who's going out, how little we spending. It's like, this is a summer of appreciation, and I'm going to enjoy every single second.
Fans were up for it, man. The atmosphere in there was banging. It was yeah, I mean, this is the thing about Arsenal, right? Just to stay on that topic, the thing that they struggle with, they struggle in big games. This is a young team. The noise was too much for them at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and they capitulated. The noise, at Newcastle Stadium, same thing. Too noisy for them. Capitulated, and they just look like a utter shambles in both games, compared to what we had seen. Now they started well against us, to be fair. I think we were all a little bit nervous at the beginning of it, but in the end, it was relatively easy, and it's a team that is as well coached to some extent as they've been, without any depth and without any options off the bench to change a game. They're really not that good. I have said, you've seen me, Brian, on our other channel, talk about Arsenal and talk about, I think they've been kind of overrated, and they've been pretty lucky this season to be where they are. They shouldn't be even in this conversation. The fact that they didn't have Europe, as you mentioned before, massive reason for them to even be in this conversation, because you got one game a week. They were out of the FA Cup early in the season. They were out of the League Cup early in the season. They haven't been playing any games. So one game a week for most of the season, and they're still struggling to get over the line, and they didn't. So says a lot about, I think, as to where they actually are. I think next season you're going to see a ton of team improvement from across the board, like we talked about Newcastle, but West Ham will improve. Leicester will be better next season. They had a pretty rough season injury-wise. I think they'll be back in this sort of top 8 conversation. Manchester United are going to improve. They got money to do it. Chelsea are obviously going to improve. Obviously, Liverpool and Man City aren't going anywhere. They're going to finish, in Europe. If it went being in Europe, they're going to finish mid-table next season. 8th or 9th would be my guess, based on what they're going to end up against, especially if they don't spend any money. And they're not going to be able to spend any money. You look at what Carragher and Neville said. It's that this is massive for them. This is going to hurt them in a massive way, because they're not going to be able to spend the way they needed to spend to put themselves in a position to compete for that top 4, which is fucking fantastic.
Can I just add to that, Brian? You've got to remember as well, the caveat with all this that's been going on, I've just got 3 words to say, and that's all or nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that was another one too.
And mate, listen, they may have been able to get away with postponing the first month where they lost 3 games. They may have been able to postpone the fixture because every gunner's a runner, but they can't get away from a 3-0 defeat at us. They can't get away from Newcastle, and they can't get away from the gift that keeps on giving. Has one more gift to do. But talking to Newcastle, for me, Eddie Howe is manager of the season. No club with 14 points when he has taken over has ever got out of relegation. And Newcastle, like I said, Newcastle are going to be one to watch. They had a few standout players, but their fans. What you saw at St James's Park last night is what Newcastle is like when they're happy. And St James's Park is going to become that fortress again. Mark my words, it's going to be not a nice place to go to next season.
Yeah, it's interesting. Somebody else mentioned that as well. I forget who it was who saying that Mike actually missed the boat, obviously, on an opportunity here, because it is a football city. It is a football stadium. St. James Park is lively as hell. It's as loud as it gets. Incredible atmosphere, and they are going to be difficult to play against. I don't want to cheer for them at all. I like everything about Newcastle until they got taken over by a state. That's the thing that's, I was hoping they would go down, which would have been funnier, but I'm glad they didn't, because we needed them today or yesterday. So, Nick, you've been quiet a little bit. Anything else to add to how crap Arsenal are?
No, it's just brilliant. Just seeing all the memes, seeing the video of troops.
That was a good one. Yeah.
It's just been amazing. And look, March the 15th, they were 6 points ahead of us with a game in hand. And I know that before the North London derby, me and Bob Swear were talking about they've got 3 or 4 losses in them. They've lost 6 out of the last 10.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind they were gifted the Chelsea game with that team selection and 4 dodgy goals, as well as the Man United game where, for whatever reason, Ronaldo doesn't take that penalty. If he takes that penalty, that's that's a different game. So look, it's just been such a massive turnaround, and this season has been an absolute roller coaster from the last minute signings to Nuno to Conte coming in. I mean, look, Tottenham there or thereabouts are always there involved with something, and at least we're supporting a club that doesn't is not eighth to 15th, and that's all sorted now. Imagine being a Villa, being a you kind of Southamptons where you're not really playing for anything, and it's never boring being a Spurs fan.
It really isn't. Yeah, it's stressful as hell sometimes, but it's been nice under Conte. I mean, there's been moments where it's been difficult. I think this was pointed out that I thought was an interesting scenario when it comes to our defense, and I think our defense. Brian has done a couple of really great shorter shows in the last couple of days in regards to our defense. So go check those out. Daigle's Digest. It's gonna be a regular occurrence here on the channel. But just talking about how good the defense has been and what they've done for obviously the players in front of them, but just for our results, even the games we lost or the games we drew, we still only gave up a goal or we drew the Brentford game 0-0. So we're still looking at a defense over the course of the last 15 games that has been really solid. We struggle against teams that sit really deep, and that's been the issue, not the defense. It's just trying to break teams down. We struggle trying to break teams down, and obviously Conte's working on that, and a lot of that's going to be managed in the summer as far as who we can bring in creatively that can start to unlock defenses the way we need to. Especially, I think even more so teams are gonna do it even more and more, recognizing that that's the thing that we struggle with the most. So I thought that was really interesting, and from Brian's perspective, as far as all the when you go check out Daigle's Digest in those two episodes talking about how good across the board they've been, especially the ones in the last 3 games. But you look at the whole defense, and it's been impressive performance, and I'm loving it. I'm surprised, but it's fantastic that we've been so well played so well defensively. Spurs Talk Show, love you too, buddy. Thanks for sharing, buddy. Sean, cheers. We'll get you on again soon, mate. It's always a pleasure to have you on, and he's a regular here on the channel on our Sunday. Well, is it Sunday show, Brian? What day is Round the Clock?
Well, it's been Round the Clock was last Saturday, but normally will be a Sunday. But maybe a bit more regular when I'm back in London in 16 days for the best part of June. So stay close and keep your eyes peeled, because you'll be seeing Sean a lot more.
Guys, we got another guest that wants to join us, a special guest. Are you guys happy to add another?
1 billion%. I'm just going to find out if he wants the link sent to him via Twitter or via WhatsApp.
I just sent it to Adam because Adam was the one. Oh, was it you talking to him, Brian? Oh,
yeah.
I see. Never mind. I read that wrong. Yeah. Happy to get him on. It'd be fantastic. Always a pleasure chatting with him.
Where he was, I'll send it to both. He normally likes it on Twitter as opposed to WhatsApp. Let's do it. Yeah, carry on. As
long as he's got the memo about all being in green, right? Because we're all in green. Yeah?
Is that what happened there? Look at that.
Has he got green? I'm sure he will do. Let me just send him the link. Go on, you carry on, Brian, while I just deal with this.
Yeah. So we did get a question from Zach Robinson. Ads, if you can pop that on screen if you want. It's a basic question, and we're talking about facing Norwich and why are we stressed about it? It's the bottom. They are terrible, 100%. The reason we're stressed, and I don't know how old you are, Zach, is because we've been Spurs fans for a long time, and there's a reason the term Spursy exists, and this is probably the most potential Spursy moment we may ever have or may have ever had in recent history. I'm not saying ever because, of course, there's been other moments, but this is, losing to the worst team in the league who's already been relegated to lose out on a Champions League spot to Arsenal would be absolutely heartbreaking and just terrible. Would be the worst possible thing to happen. So Zach, that's why we're nervous.
Do you know why as well? I've been sending people. I actually retweeted it because someone put it up as a GIF, and to me, it's the greatest gift to describe Tottenham and when you support it for years. I don't know if you want to make me the main camera just for 1 second, Bri.
Oh, how do I do that again? I forgot.
There should be the one camera on the left. The first option on the left should just, and then you just click me. You know when I used to go on my rants and you make it just me? So, well, actually, I might be able to do it. Now just change it to me.
I can't do that.
1 second. Let's see. Oh no, I got good. Let's go back to normal then. That's better. That's better. Oh Jesus Christ! 1 second.
Brian.
Oh fuck.
This is fun. This is fun.
This
is what happens when Brian has, this is what happens when Brian has control over things.
Ralph Hasenhutel. This is the perfect gift.
Okay. Oh, I've seen. Yeah, this one's brilliant. Yeah. Careful.
It's the perfect Tottenham. Listen, even me, and I've seen loads of times where we've done this. Even I am saying like it's 99.99999999999% done. Someone actually posted on Twitter the way Spurs get Champions League football. It was like Spurs win, Arsenal draw. Spurs win, Arsenal lose. Spurs win, Arsenal win. Spurs draw, Arsenal draw. Spurs draw, Arsenal win. All of and then Spurs don't get in the Champions League. Only option: Arsenal win, Tottenham lose. That is it. And you look at it with Norwich. Look at this from
great
from
statistics. Yeah, I mean you can leave those up, ads, if you don't mind. That'd be great to read it. Norwich have only scored 23 goals in 37 games, and they've conceded 79 goals. That's 2 goals a game. I predict a comfortable Spurs victory by at least 2 goals or more. Adrian, I think that's the right prediction. I would predict like probably 3 or 4-0, but there's that little seed deep inside me that is not allowing me to get too comfortable. I will get comfortable when we score first and we score early, which I expect to happen, but. Again, being a Spurs fan.
Could you imagine though if Norwich score early? Could you imagine?
Oh, the nerves! Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But you know what it is, Nick? I've been looking at it as well. If you look at it, Norwich are planning a protest. Their unhappiness at the board, and I'm not going anywhere with that. I'm just leaving that there because that's a fact. I'm not going to speak anything
going,
about
Brian.
that.
Keep going. You don't have to cap.
So they're doing that, and the one thing Norwich will do, and they always try and play attractive football. They're relegated, and they are relegated to the bottom. They are going to want to go out. They haven't got to work about goal difference. It's not like the last day, and they could still stay up. They just want to go out and put on a show where they don't disappoint the fans in the performance-wise, in my opinion. And the one team you don't want to go out and just go all guns blazing.
Which they have a tendency to play that way too, Brian. They play high.
That's what they do. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so
the one team you do not want to do that against is an Antonio Conte team that wants to celebrate. Do you know what? The thing I want to see is hopefully just try and get Son on the goals as much as possible. Try and get 2 early goals. And then if we get
win that goal.
If we get a penalty and we're 2 goals up, I can see Harry Kane actually going, here you go, son, try and tee up with Salah now, because we still don't know if Salah's playing.
Yeah, he didn't play today, and I imagine he's not playing at the weekend either. That would be the thought so far, unless they're saving him for that last game where they desperately need to win to get anything out of it, but still have to rely on a loss. But yeah, it's going to be, man, it's a stressful one. I mean, that's the thing about playing these types of teams. We struggle to break teams down. Thankfully, they're not a team that sit deep.
Exactly.
And if they do decide to do that, then yes, that'll be challenging. But they're not a team that does it regularly, so we wouldn't expect them to try. Because even if they did, they wouldn't do it very well for very long because they're not. It's not something they do regularly, right? So, it should be relatively easy, I think. But yeah, like I said, it is Spurs, right? It's difficult. It's always going to be difficult. We will be at the Scotland Yard or Dunright and Scotland Yard on Sunday. So if you're in Toronto and you're looking to go, both will be a good atmosphere. We obviously have been. We were at the Yard for the North London Derby, and it was. If you've hopefully watched the video on the channel, because it was absolute scenes, show us stadium away from the stadium kind of thing when it comes to what we had going in the pub, which was a ton of fun, led by a few different people, Brian included, and just
me. What are you talking about?
Well, just led, as far as like getting the songs going and rocking the place. But
I'm nice and quiet. I was being my normal good boy self.
And, I don't believe that for 1 second, Brian. I don't believe that for 1 second.
No, I mean, again, the good thing with the Scotland Yard, which is a fantastic pub for us, and the main home. Obviously, you got Brian Ireland's pub that he's very, very close to, with being the Dunright Inn. But we've got the official members sign-off party where Toronto Spurs will be buying all the members breakfast. We've got loads of raffles and competitions. There's a couple of Jimmy Greaves books. We're actually having as a special prize. You can have those custom-made trainers like the Adidas with whatever. We're having a Tottenham Hotspur pair made. That's going to be up for grabs, obviously, but we're going to order it afterwards because we don't know the size of the person. There's going to be loads and loads going on, but I think we can safely say we sign off the season with Champions League football. It's just, I think it's up for grabs now. The only thing up for grabs now is who goes down.
Yeah, who goes down is a massive one. I want to talk to you guys about Champions League football. I mean,
mate, I can talk about that.
And about us getting into it again. I mean, and the timing of this, what this means for the club, because this is absolutely massive. I recognize the idea that everybody was worried about Conte staying or going, and there's that sort of unease about him and his patterns in the past and what he's done previously with other clubs, which I think some of that's been blown out of proportion, and some of it isn't really necessarily true. The situations are quite different. But we have Antonio Conte, arguably the third best manager in the world, you could say, or one of the top three managers in the world, managing us with two of the best forwards on the planet at the moment and a very good defense with hopefully, and of course this is the thing that of course we're all going to be dying to find out if it happens or not, him getting backed. The potential for us this season in the Champions League and in the league with proper backing from the board and from Mr. Levy will mean that we will be a very, very difficult team to play against. And let's just ignore the what we know previously, and let's assume that he's going to get back. How good can this team get post summer with the right players in place?
So you know what? A similar question was asked on Sean's show, not by Sean, but someone in the comments that said, it might have been Sean that answered it. No, I think it may have been. Sorry, my bad. When they said, "Do you reckon going into the start of next season, so the very, very beginning, could we potentially have a better setup than we did going into the year we got to the Champions League final?" And I was very, very open and honest with it. If you look at it, manager, Pochettino, Conte. Listen, we all love this man, but Conte is levels above Pochettino. There you go. It was Sean that asked it. So yeah, then you look at it. Is the stadium better and able to bring in more revenue? Yes, it is. Is Kane and Son a better version than what they were? Yes. Do we have a Romero? Yes, but we had a Vertonghen, and everything there is set up. Everything now is set up for the better, and now there's no COVID, like it was the last few years, to say finances. They've had a season of regular income in that stadium, be the NFL, be boxing, be I can't remember that. Yeah. Nick, I can't remember. Has there actually been a concert yet? There were meant to be.
There's the Guns N' Roses and the Lady Gaga concert.
That's the come though, isn't it? It's not actually happened.
No, they were supposed to have the. I think they were supposed to have the Capital Summertime Ball when the Euros were on, because it was supposed to be at Wembley, but then that obviously didn't happen.
There you go. So all these things are looking very, 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 very positive. Everything is glowing and looks like it's going in the right direction. But then we have to have this bump to reality and realise what's going to happen. We had the season ticket money coming early. But as you were saying, everything is geared up for it. There's no excuses, and we just have to make sure it happens. But we could go into that season if Conte get what he wants.
Look what he's done, guys. Look what he's done.
Yeah.
Nick, look what he's done this season since November to get to where we are with the players that we have. He's done more with the same, arguably the same squad that Poch left with. Like, there's a lot of them still there. He's done more with them in 6 months than Poch did in the 5 years he was there.
What I've just got to add to this before I let Nick speak is obviously you got to remember, I was back in England when Conte came in. We all know what famously happened because I opened my mouth and made a bet. But I remember, bro, that happening was like, okay, Jesus Christ. But then one of the biggest things was I can remember doing a show with you and you were in Toronto and I was back in England, and you had the green screen out and you had Antonio Conte in the background in his training ground as your green screen. It was like
yeah, I know, right? It was hard to watch because it was like, I can't believe that's happening.
Is it happening? Then I got to go to a few games when I came back because of Bob, which, by the way, but anyway, it was like I got to see him, and I've never seen a guy so animated on a bench. He is box. I could have a season ticket and just watch him. He doesn't understand what this box is. I think he thinks it's someone. I think he thinks
he's the 12th man, and then the crowd's the 13th man.
I think he thinks that a rectangle has been murdered, and he can't walk around there because it'll destroy evidence. But just seeing this man here and what he is, and like you said, what he's done since November, is nothing short of miraculous.
It's incredible. Yeah. I want to get Nick. I want to hear your thoughts on it. And as you're telling us your thoughts on what he's done so far, I want to bring in a special guest today. Didn't expect him to be here, but always welcome on the channel, Mr. Bob Spur TV. Bobby, how are you, mate?
Friends.
So Bobby, look, before we get to you, I just want Nick to chime in. Go ahead, Nick.
I mean, look, like I said, I there was times in that season, kind of even after Conte had kind of come in, we'd gone on that kind of, we'd had that bounce and everything else, and then it got to the point where we'd gone on that horrible run, and we just didn't look like we were going to do anything. And kind of January time, we were kind of sat there thinking 8th, 9th, 10th would be, would be great, and then it just all sort of everything sort of clicked, and obviously a massive impact from Kulusevski and Bentancur and kind of what they did. Obviously, Romero came back. But the players, the players that Conte has turned into players that are playing beyond their ability. And look, we've even seen it in the last few weeks of Emerson, right? He's playing good football. We know where he's been before that. But, Emerson, Davis, Dyer, it's just been incredible. And then there was, there's the blips that we had with Højbjerg, and then we were wanting Skippy to come back in. And what would it be to mean with Skip and Bentancur playing together? And then that never happened because Skippy got injured. And just the way that Son and Kane have been playing, it's just been absolutely remarkable. And I just, for him to do that with that bunch of players that we've all been screaming out, we needed change and we needed things to happen, and just having a little bit of an influence, had the time, and now it's just remarkable. It's just remarkable what he's done, and that's why we need to back him. We need him to stay, Kane to stay, and then, like you said, going into Champions League football next season is going to be is going to be absolutely incredible. And for all those people that sat there and gone, we're going to get smashed, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We went to Barcelona and drew and got through. We went to City and beat them and got through. We went to Ajax and came back and got through to the Champions League final. And it was only really because we kind of, I don't think, Kane had to play, but I don't think Kane should have played. And there was decisions there that kind of didn't help in the final. And obviously we know the handball, it kind of ruined the game. And it was probably one of the worst Champions League final for a long time. But on our night and on our day, we can do anything. And I think the players believe that now. And especially just going back to Burnley, that was a performance that, at the start of the year and, under Mourinho, under Nuno and under Poch at the end, where we would have crumbled.
Even the last time we played him under Conte, before Conte had gotten to the players properly, we lost him. So,
exactly. So just incredible. Just incredible what he's done.
100%. Bobby, I want to welcome you to the channel, brother. Good to see you. It's been a bit.
Yeah, man. Great.
Thoughts on the topic of conversation. Conte, what he's been able to do since he's come in November, and us going into the Champions League with him next season. How are you feeling about getting into next season? Of course, with the caveat that we have to beat Norwich at the weekend.
Yeah, well, we don't have to lose, but there's no.
Well, yes, exactly.
There's no issues there. We'll qualify. We have qualified. I think anyone who sits there is worried about us not getting the win or the point that we need against the team bottom of the table, and I want to play the whole Spursy tag. I'm sorry, man. You need to get away from it. But what Conte's done,
I'm trying.
Yeah, I think big up Welshie. I think what we need to do, we need to look at it as what Conte's done with. Let's be honest, what 70% of the players are average to good. He's made poor players average. He's made average players a bit better. And by doing so, he's made the squad a bit bigger, because next season I'll be more comfortable to have a Højbjerg and a Dyer on the bench than I would have been this season. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I said to Adam a few days ago, I believe there's only, or was it Adam? I can't remember now, but I believe there's only 3, possibly 4 world-class players in our team who would keep for next season. We're obviously not going to make wholesale changes, but right now the only players who would take us to the next level are Kane, Sonny, Romero, and Lloris. Kulusevski's got the potential.
Bob, do you think there's another tier though? Like, I'm not talking about top tier like Liverpool City tier, but like I'm thinking like Chelsea tier, where we're battling for that spot. Like there's another space for us to go before we fight for the top.
Yeah, even to the Chelsea level, I still think we're.
Oh, we still need more. I agree.
Still 3 or 4. But yeah, what he's done is absolutely unbelievable. I said the day he came in, we should expect to get top 4, and I was laughed at. Then I said in February we are going to get top 4. Like I say, the fact I was high on drugs is irrelevant. But I always believed me and Nick and Kuva have always believed we'll always get top 4.
And Irish.
I've stuck with it as well. I mean, I've been right there with you guys. Brian and I had a bet, so he's
of course,
he's going to lose. So yeah, I mean, I've been right there with you. I knew that they dropped points, and I think like most people thought it would be against that Newcastle game. And that's what happened.
And in the end, Brian, we'll finish where we deserve to. We've got more points than the Bottlers. And if you want to, people like facts and stats. I know Will Stewart's in the chat. Since Conte's come in 27 games, we've lost 6 games in the league. Arsenal have lost 6 games in the last 11.
Tells you everything, doesn't it? Yeah, I heard an Arsenal fan say the other day that what they needed to come in was a manager who could make their players better, and then was like envious, of course, of Spurs and of us having that manager. What's Will Stewart said? Don't leave me out. I predict
fair play. Sean and Will, do you know what? Because we're trying to remember how many people did say that they were positive about it. We've said the few, and I have to say, Will and Sean most definitely were 2 of them. I only jumped on board the top 4 train after the Villa win, but then I was like, why did I doubt it after Villa and Brentford? But then again, like I said, and as I've always said, when I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong and openly admit it on every single channel. So and by the looks of it, I was wrong.
Just about that, Brian, you've agreed to get a Tottenham On Tour tattoo. What we're gonna need to do from everybody in the comments, if you could get in your super chats, all the super chats will go to paying for Brian's tattoo, because I don't want to pay for it. And I mean, we're gonna need a little.
No, listen, as much as we'd love the super chats or whatever to pay for it, I made this bet with you. I mean,
I'm kidding.
Mate, the worst thing is if this goes really wrong, and Chelsea don't win on Thursday and they get 3rd, I'm going to have to get a Tottenham Tantrum Gold one as well.
I think they're guaranteed 3rd place, aren't they, already?
No, they're 4 points behind us with 2 games left. So if they win on Thursday, then 3rd can't be happening. But yeah, the Tottenham On Tour tattoo, I'm going to have matching shoulders. We are Tottenham TV and Tottenham On Tour, which I'll gladly get, mate. It's my channel. I mean, if I'm promoting anyone else, go on, Bob.
We've discussed where you're having the 2 T's.
Oh my God, his obsession with tattoos on my arse is getting.
It's true though. You're saving money on the O. T on one bum cheek, T on the other bum cheek.
No.
Bend over. You got Tot. bend over too much, you got ticked.
Yeah, Bob, listen.
Bobby, that is absolutely brilliant, man.
He was even saying it with my We Are Tottenham TV tattoo, and apparently I'm the one that's got the fetish with porn, or a weird porn. Bob's got tattooed ass porn. So that make of that as you will. But listen, let's deal with the elephant in the room, because I can see someone start a comment immediately as it came in. I don't know if it was you or Adam. So Kevin. No, I will not give any credit to Levy right now. I have said this a billion times. We need 5 seasons of transfer windows going well. I don't mean every player. Well. And managers back without players coming in last minute on the transfer window. Players in before pre-season. And I saw you said another comment, what more do I want? I want trophies. When my dad brought me up, he didn't say, listen, let's support Tottenham. Don't worry. One day, the dream as a Spurs fan is to have 2 pitches and a goal line bar and a great training ground. We all support the club for trophies. I don't want any of these bargain basement players. I don't want any. And me and Will go on a massive rampage if this happens. If me and Will hear these are one for the future, all hell will break loose. Unless 4 minimum established players come in for the now. So no. Levy, I am giving that man absolutely no credit whatsoever.
I think what we have to do, we have to be honest with you, because I feel the same way as you, Brian. I am not convinced. I won't be convinced until I see it. I mean, obviously, evidence is what it comes down to. This window, though, it will be the deciding factor. I think of he has the opportunity to back the best manager we've ever had at the club, and a squad that it needs massive refreshing, but. There's money to do it. There's no reason not to do it. If he doesn't do it right this time with Paratici in place, then yeah, it's a massive failure. But if he does, and we go on to have a successful season and win a trophy, then we have to say, okay, he's finally pulled his head of his ass and has gotten the job done. But it shouldn't have taken that long. Is what
it's not even a trophy. I will go on Bob's show. I'll go on Shelf Side Spurs. I'll come on our show. I'll go on We Are Tottenham TV. I'll go on everyone's channel. If we get 4 to 6 decent, players ready for the season, like a De Vrij, let's say like a James Ward-Prowse. I'm just picking out names here. A Dumfries, a decent help to Kane, a left centre back. I will go on every show and go, do you know what? He's done well. He's had a good window. That's 1 out of 43. Let's now change that so it becomes 2 out of 44.
Yeah, it needs to be
3 out of 45.
For sure. Yep.
I will go on straight away, openly admit, well done, you've done well, but he's got to do it, and that's what we've got to wait and see.
And then he's got to, and then it's then got to turn it into trophies. It can't just be we've done it. It's then got to turn it into silverware.
But he kind of gives himself a rod for his own back, doesn't it? If he brings in the players that Conte wants, there's no qualms. He brings in ready-made. And then if we don't win trophies, then it is the manager. For the first time under the ownership, we can point to the manager and say, right, he's been back.
I've given you everything. Yeah.
So at least he's giving himself a bit of defence. So, get the players in. Then it's up to the manager. Then it's over to you, sir. You go and get us the trophies. But yeah, I've always said we'll get top 4. But my energy and my mindset of I don't believe Conte's going to get back. 21 years, 22 years suggests he won't. But that's a conversation for the summer.
Well, we can have that conversation now because Brian mentioned you on a previous podcast a couple of weeks ago that from someone within the club that you've heard from. I mean, you weren't willing to mention the source, but that there was somebody who said or suggested that the money will get spent this year for the first time. That that for some reason is that still the case? Has that changed for you in any way? Did you hear more about it? Brian, yeah, you mentioned that.
No. So basically. What we heard is that Conte was still seeking assurances. What I said, where I think this is, and I'm going to slightly go against what I normally do. I mean, I've said it's down to there's 4 things in the equation. 2 of them I think Levy's agreed to, and 2 of them I think are are the stumbling points. This is just my opinion when I look at them saying they're still seeking assurances. And like we said, this was a couple of weeks ago. The first one out of the four I've kind of tried to break it down to is, do I think the money's there? Yes, I do. But once I actually think the money is there, and when you talk about the money, I'm talking about the incoming from the match day receipts, club shop receipts, the food.
The money's
and
there. It's just whether it gets spent or not is a different.
The concerts, the boxing. Like me and Bob watched the boxing with my parents when I was back last time, didn't we? The Joshua fight. And the money that would have, do I think that's technically there? Yes, I do. Do I think with this number that Antonio Conte is branded, or we're hearing branded about being 6, do I think quantity is an issue? No, I don't. I think he's okay to sign off on 6 players. Where I think the two complications are is, will Conte be allowed to sign players for now? When I say now, I mean like a De Vrij at 29 or whatever he is, as opposed to a 24, 25 because we only buy young. Will Conte have the clout, or will Levy say, yep, here you go, just do what you want? That's what I think the first stumbling block was 2 weeks ago. And the second one that I think is up for debate is does Conte have the power to green light and accept an offer that's below the valuation? So, for instance, if he wants 25 for Harry Winks and a bid of 17.5 comes in, just numbers and pick it out. Is Conte going to be able to say, yes, get rid of him so I can invest it here? Because we all know that he was trying to recoup his money back on Sissoko, like a big share of it, which was never going to happen. Yeah. And then he let him go. That's where I see in my breakdown of looking at the window, 2 of them, which are the big ones, do I think the money's there? Yes. And do I think the number of players in? I think that's been signed off on, in my own personal opinion. But those 2 ones that I've said about the age of the player and the players out, it's still a huge stumbling block for me. Even Bob has said, and when I've heard him on streams as well, it's not just me that's not saying I don't believe Levy's going to do it. I want to believe he's going to do it. But when we've had him, and Bob describes it well, like, we've had 21 years of this. 21 years, and every time we've fallen short, and there's a reason. And I just, unfortunately, I still think there may be a reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to think otherwise, really, based on what we've seen. There's so much evidence to suggest it's not going to get any better. And that we're just going to go through it again because, 20 plus years is the inevitability. I do think there's something different about where we are as a club than those previous 20 years. Obviously, the last 2 years with COVID, we are now in a scenario with the best coach we've ever had, with the stadium being complete, so no money being spent on that, no money being spent on other things in general when it comes to just building the club's infrastructure. I'm playing a bit of his devil's advocate here for fun. Arguably, you could say, if you're just looking at it from the outside in, if you weren't a Spurs fan, you didn't have the same experiences that we've had, you could say Spurs are ready to, as far as all of the infrastructure is concerned, with the right manager, with the right director of football, to go on and win trophies and become one of those teams like Liverpool and City are right now. With time, I recognize that, of course, I'm not expecting that you get one window and that's going to happen. It does happen over 4 or 5 windows if he stays with us, which is, obviously the hope. We get him like Liverpool did with Klopp, and he stays with 6 or 7 seasons and we win a bunch of shit. I think that the best position we've been in as a club to do that probably ever in the Premier League in Premier League era, despite the fact that what we've seen previously from Levy. So I'm throwing it out there as a concept or as an idea. Feel free to shut me down, but I think that if he gets backed, and I think he will get backed, because there's no other reason not to, because there's no excuse anymore. Then we should see that happen. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but what do you guys
It's
think?
a waiting game, isn't it, Brian? It's a case of we all hope there's a domino effect. Conte's come in, we've got top 4, extra revenue. If we want to kick, the board need to know they've got gold in their hand, and they need to invest to take the club to the next level. We hope there is that domino effect, but history would suggest otherwise. What And it is a waiting game.
But sir, history would suggest that we've never been in this position before either.
I disagree with that to an extent because
well, that's what I was hoping for.
We were in the ascendancy with Poch. Poch came in, changed the mindset of the club, the fan base, the players. The only people he couldn't change was the board. We were consistently challenging for top four, qualifying for top four, getting to semi-finals and finals. And what happened? We went 2 windows without buying anyone.
I know, but again, that's the difference. The difference between that and this is that there was an excuse not to spend money because of what was going on with the stadium and the training ground and how much money was spent. There was an excuse. Again, I'm not saying. I only think there's no excuse now. I think once you remove all of that stuff, then
I find it really hard to accept.
I totally
that we didn't have enough money for 2 windows to improve.
I think we had the money, or the club had the money if they wanted it. It's just that the way we run our club is a business that is run to do other things to make profit, and there was no way they were going to spend money they didn't have, invest it to get there if they felt like it was going to break the bank or it wasn't going to. They weren't going to balance the books, which is the wrong thing to do, I think. But
just final thing, because I know Brian was what I know what you're saying, and I'll take that on board. What really has got to me today is the fact that a lot of people, and there's nothing against the gentleman who made the comment in the comments saying give Levy time, because that might be his thought throughout. What has really pissed me off today is some of the fan base's flippity flop nature coming to the fore, thinking that it looks like we're going to get top 4, but some of the fans who were quite happy to be at the forefront of a protest only a few weeks ago, suddenly turning around because we've, by hook or crook, got 4th, now wanted to thank Mr. Levy. And
that's odd for me.
Being the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, fucking hell, get a grip, man. To me, that's not supporting the club. Not supporting, because if you support the club, you know what's been going on. Supporting the club is, I can differentiate, and this is nothing against Brian Daigle, because he's consistently a Levy out, and he's Levy out 24/7. That's him, different personalities, etc. I've been consistent with us getting top 4, but I've been also consistent with Levy out. That'll come at the end of the summer. When you flip-flop throughout the season, I'm going to be at the protest, I'm going to be there, let's make fucking change. Oh, we've got top 4. Levy's the best thing since last bread. Thank you, Mr. Levy. Parity. That does my fucking nut in. And unfortunately, and I'll say it, we're better off without fans like that. And
I can't disagree with that, Bob. It's just
get a grip, man.
Yeah, fickle fans. Right?
If you're Levy in, there's nothing wrong with that. And I've always said that. Mm-hmm. If you're Levy in, or you're not Levy out, or you're Levy on the fence, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Yeah. I'd never turn around and say what you think is wrong. That's not my right. That's not. There's no way I could convince someone of that. I can sit down and have a conversation of why I am Levy out, what my thoughts are, but I wouldn't sit there and go on about it till they think otherwise. But what I don't like, Sean Butler, for an example, he'll always play devil's advocate. I know his thoughts on Levy, and he's not Levy out right now. But he can back it up with points and stats and facts, and he's got this business acumen that he can bring to the fore to an argument. Brilliant. Don't fucking flip-flop. And none of us here flip-flops. Dave Harris, Sean Butler, Stell, Iggy, JP, many of people out there who don't flip-flop. It's the flippity flop nature of some of the fan base that really does my fucking nut in. That's what I want to say. Good night. See you later.
We got that up from Bobby.
Yeah, I'm just saying what I'm going to say very quickly. Then I'm going to let Nick talk, because this is just when it comes to the spending the money. What you've got to remember as well, when Gareth Bale left and we had £86 million, and AVB only wanted 2 of those players. 2. He wanted people like Moutinho, but was told by Baldini, this is your job. We bring the players in. You deal with coaching them and getting them better. So everyone said we've wasted the Gareth Bale money. Now, these 2 months or 2 years that we didn't sign 2 windows we didn't sign anyone. Apparently, Levy came out and said, well, do you know what? I kept offering Poch players, but he kept saying no. So you can't have it both ways. That
I've heard that.
you won't get what the manager wants him when you are spending, but then when the manager says no, you go, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not going to bring them in. When you've told this manager, I bring the players in, you deal with it. There's so much, and like you said, there's just been excuse after excuse after excuse. Everything there is set up.
Yeah, and I guess that's but my point. That's what I'm trying to make is a point is that now everything is there. This is the first time under Levy with the new stadium, with money coming in and no other excuses. There's nothing he can say or do that can say, oh, well, we've got the stadium. Oh, we got the training ground. Oh, COVID. Or you know, there's always an excuse. This is the first time there isn't. So if he doesn't back the squad and back up Conte, then he's failing miserably, and it's there for everybody to see because there's no excuse anymore at that point, which I think is great. Just quickly want to read the super chat from Ryan. I'm going to make all for you feel old. I wasn't born the last time Nottingham Forest were in the top flight. Feel old yet?
Oh wait, they got through.
They got through on penalties.
They're in the final.
Yeah. They're in the final, so they're not through yet. But cheers, Ryan, for the super chat. Appreciate it, buddy.
Cheers for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
thanks for making us all feel old, you bastard.
That was one of, you know what? Nottingham Forest, and then we're going to let Nick speak about it. Nottingham Forest was one of my very, very first away games, but I'll always remember it because the game before that, I was at my favourite away game of all time when Ronnie Rosenthal scored that hat-trick against Southampton. And then he came out of Nottingham Forest, and we all started singing Ronnie, oh Ronnie, Ronnie, oh Ronnie, Ronnie, oh Ronnie Rosenthal. So, mate, Nottingham Forest is a great little ground to go to. You'll love it, Ryan. But yeah, what's been your thoughts, Nick, on the discussion?
Yeah, look, I think you know Bob has hit the nail on the head. I think we all know what we need. I think the crying out of what we need. I don't personally think we're going to sign a replacement or backup or someone to play alongside Kane. I don't.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, mate.
No, every single week, this guy comes in.
To be fair, okay, he's entitled to his opinion.
He's entitled to his opinion.
Yeah, it's fine.
You know what? Like I said, whenever I go mad, and Bob and everyone here will vouch for it, I do stuff with Levy Tourette's. I have been diagnosed with it.
Let's just let Nick finish his comment.
I can't be held responsible. Yeah. But Paul, when I'm going on about this is nothing personal about you at all, because I never criticise anyone personally. It's just some of the comments. It's just like, oh my days.
Yeah, and Adam in the background, if you could leave those comments while people are speaking to get them out, so we don't interrupt them, because they are hard to laugh at.
That's all right. That's all right. No, look, I think it's gonna. I think we're gonna strengthen in the summer across the back line, and a attacking midfielder or a playmaker. I think, and then you know we also need to think of the backup for Lloris as well. So I think that's where potentially it's not necessarily going to be what the fans want, but potentially what Conte wants in terms of building that strength and depth from the back. So it will kind of be along that back line plus a goalkeeper and maybe an attacking midfielder. But it all depends, right? Because it's going to be on who gets relegated as well, because that's going to come into the players that are going to be available. I don't personally see Calvin Phillips leaving Leeds if they don't get relegated. Rafinha, yes, but obviously he's going off to Bayern. So, and there's also the other thing of the people that are available for a free in the summer. Okay, not free as in they won't cost anything, but in terms of the business that needs to be done. So, if, you know, I know there's obviously the clamour about Eriksen, there's the talk about Bale and where he's going to go or not go, and whether he's just going to train at Cardiff City to stay fit for the World Cup or what that looks like. But if you can bring in, you know, if we're going to do clever signings, and like you said around players that are older, players that have that experience, and players that aren't going to necessarily have a resale value or are going to get any money back, but it gives Conte and the team that strength that we need. I think that's where it's going to kind of go, and we need to do some frugal business in the summer, and you know you've got the likes of Tielemans at 25 million, Eriksen for free, Bale for free. Those three players immediately strengthen our team.
Yeah,
right?
We also got to manage Dembele and Undembele and Lo Celso. You know, and that's That's a difficult situation with the amount of money that that they've cost us, and then of course trying to, you know, what Levy's going to try to do to make that money back is going to be difficult to do as well. We're not getting £60 million for Ndombele. We'll probably get lucky to get 20. Lo Celso we will get the value for. I think he's gone off. And he's had a good,
this falls
good run,
into the category I was saying about will he sanction fees at lower.
Yeah, exactly. They're not going anywhere if he doesn't, and then he's just paying their wage bill, which is eventually is going to cost them that much anyway. Which I don't get. It's better to get them off the wage bill and get players in who want to play for the club than it is to have, you know, kids train or them training with the kids and picking up $300,000 a week. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, it's all right. Paul Pablo's just asked me a direct question.
Oh yeah, go ahead and answer it.
Yeah, I'll answer it, and then he's asking to change the record. I don't understand how that works, but
because everyone says Leicester.
No.
You're not allowed to say Leicester to Paul.
And big up to everyone, you know, for stating Leicester in there. But I'll be honest with you. I think Daniel Levy's a shit chairman. It's very. I don't understand why someone would buy a football club and not invest in their main product, which is the football team, properly. I'm not saying he hasn't spent money, I never have, but to be surrounded by a recruitment team who can't get the right players in, then that's down to the owner, i.e. the chairman. Secondly, Leicester, FSG, whoever it is, with all due respect, I couldn't give a shit about anybody else. Any other owners.
Thinking the same
I couldn't
thing,
give a shit about any other.
It's not a
chairman.
competition between chairmen, is it?
It's my club. It's my club. All I'm concerned about is what my chairman, what my owner does.
Yeah.
Great. The stadium is world class. And I've constantly said, we've got the best stadium in the fucking world. We need a team to go in there.
To match it.
If you're telling me that we could be in the top 10 richest club in the world, by the way, we need to behave like that. And we don't.
Right.
And that's down to the owners. So FSG, Leicester, big up on everyone to I'm assuming you're backing me up by giving examples, but I couldn't give a shit what Brighton, Brentford, Man City, Liverpool, Leicester City. I couldn't give two shits what they do. It's all about Tottenham Hotspur Football Club to me. What my chairman does, what mine is. And they've fallen short. They've fallen short consistently. Stadium is great. Time to live up and get the right team to play in a world-class stadium.
Yeah, it's all fun having a good house, but you need better furniture, right? Like
the one thing I will add to it as well, because Paul just puts the Steve Hitchin gave bad advice. Listen, he openly said...
You know what my thoughts are on Steve Hitchin?
Yeah, I know what your thoughts are, but what I'm saying is he openly gave 250, he said in his programme those last year, we have misspent £250 million, and we've done that badly, yet he didn't sack a single one of them.
Yeah, and he's hired them, right? So
if that had been like Enix headquarters and they'd lost 250 million, their desks are packed and security is showing them out the door and they're leaving with a cardboard box. You don't spend 250 million. What he's done is the best way I could the bad advice he's got. It's like me opening a vegetarian restaurant and saying today's special is gammon ham and why would you do it? He just continuously allows this bad advice, but does nothing about it. He accepts it, whether it be Hitchin. And do you know what? When Bob Spurs speaks about Steve Hitchin as well, you look at it, and I'll say what Bob Spurs says, because I agree with him to a certain extent. He went out trying to get Skriniar. He had the contact. He did everything. But when the price was, they said you can have him for this amount of money, and Daniel Levy says offer this amount of money, the answer is no. So if Steve Hitchin then goes, right, I've got a little bit I can offer you here, but you want this, every time that we're getting a no, that's not Hitchin's inability. That's him not being. He wasn't getting back. Contact.
He wasn't getting.
He's made the contact. He's got the deals going ahead, but they need money to sign it off. And if he can't sign it off, that's not down to Hitchin.
Yeah. Well, we've gone off the rails a little bit here, which is the inevitability when you get into the Levy conversation, which is fine. I don't mind it. It's still a good conversation, especially since we've gotten Champions League, right? That's the reason why it's back in the conversation again. We've got, well, arguably the win. We got to win at the weekend, but it looks more than likely that we've got it. Getting Champions League next season with Conte. What do you guys think? I want your thoughts on Conte in his European experience or his European lack of quality typically in Europe. I'll start with you, Brian, because you and I have had this conversation before. Are you how much is he going to put into it? Are you confident we'll go on a run there, or is that going to be a distraction?
So let's put it this way. It seems in Antonio Conte's career in club management, his kryptonite, his Achilles heel has been Europe. It really has. I think he's got to the final in the Europa, or very, very far into it, if I believe. But the Champions League, he hasn't got past the quarterfinals.
Right.
And I'll be honest, right now, with the team we've got, and let's just say we only get a couple of players, do I see this team getting past quarterfinals? No.
Yeah.
I honestly see the target next year, seriously, that it's good to be in the Champions League because of the riches it brings and everything that comes with it. But if Conte's sitting there in the dugout in the first game of the season, which we all believe he will, and I think he will, and it's not even an if, I expect third minimum. Third and a cup is what I actually want, a domestic cup. We're not going to go straight away into the Champions League, but what we need to do is we need to become a constant in the Premier League again and keep Conte happy, and then he can build on it.
Yeah.
So for me, the Champions League, being back in it and what it brings, is the cherry on top of the cake. Getting out of the group.
Yeah, it's not really about the journey in the Champions League as much as it is about what we get with it. The prestige,
Exactly.
We get some European nights, and we get some money, and that money is going to hopefully be able to reinvest back into the squad and build the team for future runs in the Champions League where we might actually be able to compete in it.
Put it this way, I will ask everyone when they finish their bit on this. If you said to me next season, you win the Premier League or you win the Champions League, I'm choosing the Premier League every single goddamn time.
I would too. Yeah. Nick, your thoughts on it? Thoughts on Conte Champions League next season? Excited to, or you kind of in agreement that it's more of a means to an end?
Yeah, I think we all agree that the squad that we've got is not, we are going to struggle again with the amount of games that we're going to have to be involved in. But look, there's nothing more than seeing that ground on a Champions League night under the lights is just incredible. And I was, I
just got chills thinking about it.
Yeah,
the song playing and stuff.
I was there for the Ajax semi-final, and just to be there and to experience it in the stadium, but that is what the fans deserve, and that's where we need to build for future runs. And Brian, I'm with you. If you turn around and said to me next year you're going to win a trophy, no one's going to expect it, Premier League or Champions League, I'd take the Premier League, all day long. And I just feel that is in the build, the kind of stepping stone. It gives us that, or it should give us that stepping stone to invest in the team in the right way, not in the wrong way. So we can go back, and Paul, I see you still going off in the comments, mate, but you can go back and talk about spending money, but spending money in the right way, not wasting money on, the next big thing, 57 million or whatever it was for Ndombele, and getting these types of players and that we don't need, rather than being frugal, rather than getting born winners into the team that also can help bring the younger players that haven't, because at the moment, okay, yes, it's Kane and Son and Lloris, but we need more. We need that more experience to do it. And look, I just feel that I'm excited. Do I expect us to get out of the group? Absolutely. Do I expect us to do what we did in 2019? Absolutely not. But hey, this is football, right? And you never know what can happen. So
tournaments are different, right?
I'm just going to put this to bed very, very quickly. So first of all, we don't want to go back to Sugar. We don't want to go back to Scholar. We want to go forward as a club. And now you put Poch wanted Ndombele. Yes, he did. He also wanted Dybala. And I could give you about 50 other names that he wanted that he didn't get. So let's not pick the one that he got when I can talk about he wanted Coutinho, who was at his peak. And that's me just talking about he wanted Schneiderlin. We got Benjamin Stambouli. I can keep going with names that he wanted.
Let's roll on from that, though, right?
That he did get.
Yeah. Just finally, Paul, big up and thanks for putting in the comments, mate. Big up, but it's great that you're watching the stream and supporting us. So big up. And this comment, I've supported this club for 50 years. I've seen bad days. So it doesn't mean that your points are more valid than mine. I've supported Tottenham 41 years. My dad supported Spurs for nearly 60 years. Does that mean that he was Levy out? Does that make his argument more valid than mine? We were both singing from the same hymn sheet. So I don't care how long you've supported the club. If you've seen the bad days, does that mean you're happy to see the bad days again? Let's get relegated. Maybe that might hold a bit more clout to your argument. We all want the same thing, Paul. We all want Spurs to be successful, regardless of which angle we come from. Just because I don't like Daniel Levy or Enoch does not mean I want the club to fail. Just like you haven't got an issue with Levy or Enoch doesn't mean you want the club to fail. We look at the club that we love from different angles. That's it. End of. I'm not going to sit here and try and change your mind. So don't sit there and try and change my mind because it ain't going to fucking work, mate. So, big up.
That's a good way to end it, Bobby, on that conversation. Do you want to respond to the Champions League chat?
If we're doing well in the league, that means we're doing well in the cups. You look at the recent trend, League Cup finals, Champions League, FA Cup. If we're doing well in the league, which I hope we are, if you want to take, if it's a choice between winning the Premier League or the Champions League, the chances are, if we're at the point of winning the Premier League, we're in the final of a trophy, be it whatever. So all I want to see progression, go to the next level. We've gone from 8th up to 4th in my eyes. Now it's all about trophy. For me, Brian knows it's the biggest trophy for me is the FA Cup. But that's an individual thing.
Right.
That is an individual thing. We won it in 91. I was there. The semi-final holds a bit more relevance to me because it was the first Wembley trip. It was Arsenal, etc. But for me, the FA Cup will always have that glamorous. I know it's lost its appeal of late, but for me, the FA Cup is the biggest trophy, and I mean that. For me, it's a personal thing. It's the biggest trophy. But if we're doing well in the trophies, the argument is that it's most likely we're doing well in the league as well, because recent trends will suggest that it goes hand in hand. I just want to see progression, mate. One trophy would be great next season, but what I want to see is progression. Better squad, better first 11, better backing, better football, and from 4th, progression is 3rd, 2nd, or 1st. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let me just say as well, James, thank you for the super chat.
Cheers,
and I really look forward to seeing you at the yard on Sunday.
Yeah,
Your
James
seat is saved at my table. You know where my table is.
Yeah, the usual spot.
The
We'll be standing on it again.
Yeah, I might be standing on it again.
It'll happen. Well, yeah, lads, let's get into some predictions for the weekend since you're all here looking at this Norwich game. Let's say hi to Danny first. What's up, Danny?
And I think he's in Amsterdam now, so I need to do it's the Kyriacous. It's the Kyriacous. If Mrs. Kyriacou is watching, big up, Sana.
Yeah, big up, Sana.
And obviously, Danny.
Yeah, big. Good to see you guys both. Well, you in particular, Danny. Hopefully you can hop on with us while you're down there, but if not, we'll see when you get back. Norwich at the weekend, bottom of the league, should absolutely slaughter them. Bobby, I'll start with you. Score prediction on the Norwich.
How nice would it be for me to finally get my 4-1? I've had it once at Leeds, but a 4-1 would be absolutely great. And Sonny with 4 goals.
There's 4-0 at Leeds, Bob, brother. You didn't get it.
Yeah, 4-0. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it was 4-0, wasn't it? But yeah, 4-1. I finally get my 4-1. Sonny with 4 goals. But there's, honestly, I think Red said it earlier on another stream. Spurs fans, don't do it to yourself, man.
I'm trying not
Don't do it to yourself. There's no way we're not getting at least a point. We're going to get the 3 points, but don't put yourself through it. Don't sit there and stew all week. Are we going to get? Are we going to lose? No, there's no way we're losing to it. Clip it, whatever, timestamp it, do whatever. We are not losing to Norwich. We're qualifying for 4th. We have qualified. Celebrate it. No, it's none of this jumping the gun. Again, Rez said to me, you know, if worst case scenario, you know, people are going, well, I don't want to celebrate yet. I want to hold off. if we go to Norwich and we lose and Arsenal win, are we going to feel any worse?
Yeah. What do you mean? Of course we're going to feel worse, aren't we?
If we hadn't got fourth now, if we hadn't got fourth, are we going to feel any? Are we going to feel any worse if it hadn't been Arsenal or whatever? We're going to feel bad anyway.
Yeah, I guess we're going to feel bad.
Just do it.
Yeah. I feel you, man.
Celebrate.
I'm trying to allow myself to enjoy it.
If you can't celebrate now, and then the worst thing happens, you've not given yourself a chance to celebrate. You're going to feel bad anyway, aren't you?
Yeah,
regardless if you celebrate now or not.
Yeah, fair point. I get you.
Accept it.
Yeah. All right, Nick. Your prediction. What do you say?
I think it's going to be 3-0. Sonny's going to get 2 and get the golden boot. So yeah, I don't care who gets the other one. But yeah, 3-0. I think on Sunday. I didn't get the Burnley prediction right, but I got last night's result right, and I got the North London Derby prediction right. So so let's hope that I get this right as well. But yeah, I think Sonny's going to get 2, get the golden boot.
What's up, cool?
And it's going to be it's going to be done and dusted.
Nice. It's funny. I'm feeling only nervous because of what's happened previously, not because of what's happening currently. I think we're going to win, and I think it's going to be comfortable. But at the same time, there's that thing in the back of my head that the little Spurs devil on your shoulder telling you things are going to go wrong. Bri, your score prediction, brother?
Yeah, my score prediction. Now, I had 2 score predictions when I was back over Christmas because of Bob, which was Bob's Spurs prediction and my prediction. And for the first time, they're aligned. And I've got a bad feeling we're going to go 1-0 down and really set the cat among the pigeons, and then we're going to wallop them. And I'm going to go 1 up on Nick and say a Son hat-trick. There's another Son hat-trick. And I'm going to go Kulusevski for the other.
Nice.
What about yourself?
My girlfriend and I do prediction. We have a game that we play in a pool. And I predict a 3-0 Spurs, and I'm going to stick with it 3-0. I don't see them scoring. They struggle to score. They're really, really poor in front of the net, and our defense has been quite good. So just from those 2 things, there's no reason to think that they're gonna score unless they get a set piece or something ugly, which could happen early on, and that might happen. But I still don't see it. I see Sonny getting a goal. Maybe he gets that second one. I hope he gets that second one and gets the golden boot because he deserves it. He's been better across the entire season than Salah's been. Salah had a very good start to the season, and he's been pretty poor for the last couple of months. And I think he deserves it to get the player of the season. I think he deserves it as well. He's been fantastic from start to finish. So that's my thought on it. I could forget, Nick, have you been on to do the Who Are You yet? Or
before we do Who Are You, no. I think we should do our exclusive first. And then
you want to do the exclusive before it? All right, we'll do the exclusive and then we'll do Who Are You.
Oh, right, he's coming out. It's coming out.
I love Porn. It's true.
I said on Sean Butler's show, I'll do this. I said on Sean Butler's show before, there will be a bit of breaking news within Tottenham On Tour. We're going to break it to you now. So basically, there's going to be the 4 of us had a big meeting about loads of new ideas of content and shows we want to do. But because of me going back and forth to England and then time difference and the season just going mad, everything had got put on hold. And then we had a meeting last week. We're like, right, we need to get some of these rolling. And we thought, you know what? We need to get one out as a sneak preview before the end of the season. And the way this show came about was when I was actually doing the Leeds watch along, Bob, and you mentioned the Leeds score.
Right. Before you go into this, instead of telling this story, why don't we just have them go to our other video that you've actually told the story?
No, we said we were going to do this, so I want to do this.
All right.
I said we were going to do it. So I had an earworm.
So yeah, guys.
I had an earworm in my head of a certain song, and an idea came to my head. And Brian, are you going to play the brand new opening credits?
I am going to play it. I want to quickly give a shout out to Bob Spur TV for the inspiration of this video, because without the videos he's done, I wouldn't have been able to do this video.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
So there it is,
That's
straight out of
wicked,
Conte. So the idea of the
wicked.
show is essentially we're going to humorously break down Conte's press conferences. Sometimes we'll get serious about it, depending on what he says. But people are always like, "Here's the press conference," and they'll have a quick chat about it. We're going to get a little bit more into it, have a bit more fun with it. Some of the really nice quotes that he does are obviously pretty hilarious, and we've seen them at the end of this last season. I wish we had started the show 6 weeks ago, because we would have had a bunch of really good episodes to have gone on. But look for this for the Norwich game. We're going to start it for the last game of the season. We're going to do a before and after, and then next season there'll be a regular on the channel, and should be a good laugh and a lot of fun. So I hope you guys liked the video, and hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy the show as well.
Looks better than Wankety Wank. Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. All right, well, now it's time for our other segment on the show that we hadn't got to yet. We'll do that one. All right, Nick, Shelf Side Spurs. We know Shelf Side Spurs because you guys are a regular on the channel, but we don't know you so much about your story and you're from Spurs and from Shelf Side Spurs, and how you've come to where you are as a Spurs fan. So give us a quick rundown of your family and how you got into being a Spurs fan, and then of course the channel itself.
So it's kind of been. My first game wasn't till late. It was 2015. It was Stoke at home. My best mate, who's going to be my best man at my wedding, his father-in-law had a box at Spurs and or seats in the Gary Mabbott Lounge. So my birthday, he said, "Oh, I've got your tickets. Let's go along. Let's see what it's about." And it was don't get me wrong, it was a fantastic way to go and watch football, but I don't want to go and watch football like that, because you kind of go. You used to go up there. It was in the corner of the south and east stand, and you get there. You program on your seat. You'd have a lovely meal. You'd come out at half time. Everyone would look at you, and you'd be like, "Oh, you're the wankers up in there." So that's you kind of had a nice seat, and you couldn't feel like you could cheer and support the team on it. It was very strange. Obviously, Spurs lost. But it was a great day out, and since that that was kind of me getting the bug for it, and and that was 6 years ago. So since then, I'd been fortunate enough to go to kind of other games, and obviously last season was this season was the first season as a season ticket holder. So obviously I was quite fortunate in the fact that I was 35,000th in the season ticket waiting list, and because of COVID and people giving up their seats and everything else, I managed to get a seat right up in the gods in the corner of the north and east stand. So right behind, kind of nearly behind this big screen up behind the away end. I think I've only sat there 3 times this season, I'll hasten to add. But that's come about from... I joined. I then went. I went up with Johnny, Gaz, who are on Shelf Side Spurs, and then from there, I kind of got invited on one day. And at the start, it was funny. We were doing the kind of memories of. It was the year anniversary of the show a few weeks ago, and everyone was sitting there going, "Oh, Nick used to just come on and not say anything for like an hour and a half," and I'd literally just sit there and just not say anything, and now you can't shut me up. But since November, being on Shelf Side Spurs show, and then meeting Brian at the NFL protests, this community has been incredible. Right, it's been absolutely incredible, and I've been fortunate enough to meet some wonderful people. I'm not going to name them all, because I'll no doubt I'll miss someone out, and then that will do them a disservice, right? But to go from not knowing, Brian and Bob, and now talking to them every day, every other day, and Brian will sit there, and it'll the conversation when he was over before, and I said, "Oh, Brian, you need to introduce me to Ben and Sim." And he was like, yeah, that's of course, not a problem. And it was Brian's leaving do back in
March the 5th.
In March, yeah, back in March, where I got to kind of chat to Ben and Sim properly, and And then from there, obviously, I've been fortunate enough to go and do a couple of watch-alongs as well. And then obviously, I got to meet the great man himself next to me, Bob. And since then we've met at Ben's coffee shop. We've obviously been out for a curry for Stell's and Rez and Ben's birthday. And it's just been, do you know what? Everyone, from Tottenham On Tour, Tottenham Away, Spurs Talk Show, We Are Tottenham TV, Coffee Company,
Tottenham Tour.
Tottenham Tour.
Yeah, I've got that. I've said that.
He said Tottenham On Tour. It was like his second one he said.
No, that's Tottenham Away.
You said it right after that.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, don't you start. And to being, I mean, Will probably say the big thing. I think I was on Will's channel for about 2.5 hours and didn't say much, And it's Mari's Love Lounge. There's so many channels and so many great people in this community, and I just feel like I've, it's just to be welcomed by everyone. Speaking to Brian, and then speaking to Bobby Kay, and then I probably speak to Bobby Kay more than Brian does, and he's like, "What are you doing?" Speaking to Nick and everything else, and
Bobby's a funny one though. He just rated everybody immediately.
And Welsh Gals asked why I have so many names. So it was I have to give kudos here to Aaron Dove. So I still owe him a brown envelope with some money in it because basically he's created this character, right? So. Basically, we're on a stream. We're all calling people saying, "Oh, Rez looks like the dude out of Breaking Bad." Someone that likes this, and they said, "Oh, I look like Barry from EastEnders," right? So, of course, Aaron at the start thought he'd offended me. Now, you couldn't possibly offend me, and then it's just evolved. So, Barry,
well, I'll tell you why it's evolved as well, because I remember you came on the pop-up, and your real name's Nick. Your alias was Barry, but then I started calling you Sean, which is Barry's from EastEnders' real name.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of.
I called you Barry the whole time. The one I was just like, I thought you
what he's doing now.
and the weirdest thing happened, right? So after we got these names, and Bob calls me Ranjit, Bobby K calls me Uncle Ranjit. There's all these characters from EastEnders. Mark Swift calls me Dr. Leg. So it's kind of. It's just we've just kind of rolled with it with all the different bloody names, and that's why I've got like 500. So
nobody knows who are you in the end.
No, in the end, exactly.
His real name's Deborah. No one knows that.
But the weirdest thing happened, right? And it was so when we're at the stadium and everything else, and when you're there with Ben and Sim, obviously everyone's there and they're going, "Oh, it's Ben and Sim. We are Tottenham TV. Come over your picture." So you're mid conversation. Then you have to stop what you're saying and then wait for the picture to happen, and then you carry on. And absolutely, you get it. But 3 weeks ago, I was walking through the stadium and someone shouted, "Barry." And obviously, because of it, I just turned around. I was like, what the hell? And there was a guy on your bike, Scott, and he's in the chats and everything else. He said, "I really love what you guys do." And for me, that was probably it, because he hasn't just called me Nick, he just called me Barry. And I've reacted to it. And then we just had a conversation with people. And that's, we don't do it, it's not our job compared to what it is for Ben and Sim. But to sit there and see fans and see that they enjoy what we do and the content we put out, and to go from nothing from like November to like now is just, it's just mind-blowing how it's cut and how I've met all these wonderful people who I don't consider as friends, I consider as family, So
yeah, it really has become that, Look at Bob's got the tears going. It really has become that, though. Since the pandemic started, we all kind of came together on the internet and have made some great friends and started a great family. Thank you, Nick, for coming on. Shelf Side Spurs show is it's in the description, so make sure you're hopping over there and subscribe if you haven't already. Great content from those guys. Fantastic stuff. Thank you for being on, Nick. I want to thank.
Pleasure.
Fantastic stuff. I want to thank Bob Spur for hopping in as well as he always does. Great to see you. How you doing these days? You're looking good. You're feeling good.
Yeah, getting better there, mate. Small steps, literally.
Good.
Slow process.
Nice. Well, obviously doing the hole in the wall on the weekends and
the hole in the wall. He's not
hole in the wall. Danny Dyer.
What is it called again?
In the wall.
In the
In the
wall.
wall. Oh, it's close.
Close enough.
The
He's got
reason
a spin-off
being,
show
when I
ready now.
first started up the show, it was called Four in the Wall.
That's
and
what
only
it
had
was.
four
That's what I
guests.
was thinking. Was 4 in the
Yeah,
wall.
there was only 4 in the wall, and we only had 4 guests on, and then the 4 became 10.
Yeah, now it's whatever. Whoever shows up.
3 hours. Yeah, so 2 hours. So I just call it in the wall now.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the wall, 10:45. Okay, it'll be the last one for the season. We're looking back. We will have wankety wank as always, it'd be a funny look at the season and
Nice.
previewing the last day. Obviously,
We'll hop on over there and check that out. Of course, it's going to be brilliant. Great, 2 very good channels. Bri, any last words before we sign off, brother?
No, mate, just always a pleasure to spend time with you, and obviously with Nick Barry, Sean, Phil Grant, he will put on a show for you, and obviously Superman, who this time in 16 hours, 16 days,
16 hours.
16 hours. You best start getting it. 16 days. I will be home, and obviously Bob's picking me up, and we all know last time when I was there, yes, I was there for him, but I didn't get to spend any real time with him. Well, we changed that this time a hell of a lot, and
sounds like a threat.
mate, trust me, that when the revenge coming your way, it's more of a promise. So yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, that's all I've got to say.
Nice one, Brian. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thanks everybody in the comments. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the questions. If we didn't get to your questions this week, we are going to, I believe, try to do a show on Friday that is literally going to be about taking questions. We did one a couple weeks ago and really well, so we're going to do it again. So look for that. We'll do a little promo on it and get your questions in. If we didn't answer them today, we'll answer them by then on Friday.
Oh, just one last thing in the comments, just before we go. Do is still in the building. Can everyone in the comments wish our brother a very, very happy birthday for Thursday?
Well, no, we have to sing it.
For Thursday.
We're doing it
now.
Oh, you're going to do it?
Yeah, let's do it. Fuck it.
Go ahead, Bob. You
why
start.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Danny Kyriacou. Happy birthday to you. And thank you for posting it, Adrian.
Peace out, folks. See you next time.
Bad contact.
Tottenham On Tour.